On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. Here, this is the place where the conversation is pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. Welcome home, Brains.
Coming to you straight from San Diego, California. Let's welcome our host, April Mahoney.
Services. I don't want people calling me, say, I want you to be my publicist, and they ain't even got 5 friends on Facebook.
Girl, all right, so wait. We about to go. Oh, I love you. Okay, I want our magazine brains. Oh, yes, speakers. Okay, that is Pamela right there. Pamela Perry. She has arrived here on the edge. She is a PR coach. I'm trying to get her to upgrade that name. I don't like that name because she is a phenomenon. She is truly a media maven. So you guys better get your pen and paper because I took a laundry list of things that you should know, and we're going to give it to you 500, and it's going to be funny as hell.
Yes, that is so true. Because one of the things, I just love you, April. Thank you so much for having you. We have a ball where we start talking.
Yeah, all right. Okay, so good. So now first, let's get into the business before we get into this social media and this whole pivot. And girl, it's going to be good. Tell my brains a little bit about you, your history, and your journey, how you've arrived.
Yes. So the pivot, I'm good at pivoting. I've pivoted like most of my career. Started out in journalism, went into public relations, then went into advertising, then went into media in terms of producing and selling radio time. So I've done the gamut from working with media organizations, working with daily newspapers, Detroit Free Press, had my own newspaper at one point in time called Soul Source, which was for the church community. I've worked for nonprofits, the Salvation Army as a PR director. I've worked for the Black Museum here in Detroit, the Charles H. Wright Museum as the marketing director. So I've done a gamut, but every time things would change with marketing doesn't change in terms of promoting things. What has changed is the technology, or social media really changed the game a lot. Right. So every time there was a change, I would change. So initially I started my company, Ministry Marketing Solution, 20 years ago as a publicist working with publishing houses. Today, there's a lot of self-published authors. And the publishing houses were like, we don't need publicists anymore to work with our authors because a lot of our authors they've got to do their own PR. And a lot of authors now have left us and publishing their own books because they make more money when you publish your own books. But anyway, this is a whole nother story. So I then said, okay, well, typically I was charging $5,000 a month to do PR for the publishing houses, publishing houses like the Random Houses and that sort of thing. But the authors, they don't have that because they don't have the bandwidth. They self-published. So that's why I went from publicist to PR coach. And I've been doing that, showing them the ropes on social media, how to brand, how to get their own media, how to book on a podcast, how to show up on a podcast.
Really? And deliver on a podcast, because that's what she's doing right here, Brains. Okay? On the edge. We just got to going, but let me tell you, this is going to be jam-packed because, let's start with social media. I just want to go into it because we got a lot to cover. Social media. There is some etiquette, Brains, okay? And we're going to give it to you 105. We skip 101. We're going straight to 105 and then to 210. Because folks be doing some crazy stuff thinking that they're marketing and they're promoting. For example, every time you have an event or something, please don't tag me. Because what I think they think they're doing is the people that follow me will eventually follow them. Is that correct?
Yeah. They do. They're using you as an advertising vehicle.
Right.
And that's not good.
No, it's not good because that will get you deleted and blocked. Okay.
Unfriend first, untagged, and blocked. Okay.
Oh, you get the triple whammy, Brains. Okay.
Yes. So and it's just rude to do, especially if it's someone that you don't really interact with. And they don't even like your own post that you have on your page, and then they're going to tag you so that their posts show up on your page. Like, how rude is that? So April, initially it was called social networking before it became social media. And then it became social media marketing. But it was networking where instead of calling people on the phone, we would just kind of like network online.
Right.
But then it became an advertising junk.
Right. And a political platform. Okay.
Yeah.
So also what I notice people do is as soon as you friend them, they want you to like their page. I don't like your page like that because I might not be feeling the vibe. You know, these private groups, they be saying some tricked out stuff. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
I don't even go there. So don't just automatically assume that I'm nice and all that, but I'm also a brain. I edit and filter. Believe in stuff.
And it's too much really on Facebook. It's too much noise.
Yes.
Too many distractions. There's Facebook groups, which are like 1 million of them. And I really don't think that if you're running a real business that you should quote unquote have your paid people on a Facebook group. And I'll tell you why, April, because Facebook is a free platform. They don't owe anybody anything. I don't know if before you sign on, if you read all their community rules, there were probably about 30 pages of them. These are our community rules. Okay, well, whatever. I'll just sign on. Well, at any point in time, they can shut you down and they can say you violated our community rules. And that happened to me last week.
Girl, you got put in Facebook jail.
No, it wasn't Facebook jail. You couldn't post into the groups. Just period.
Wow.
Didn't tell me why. And then after about a week, they said it was okay. But yeah, it was like, so I don't have paid groups there. But if I did, that would mess up my money. Okay. So don't put your paid groups in Facebook.
This is the real deal. Regardless, paid or unpaid, it's not your platform. And they can shut you down at any time. A friend of mine got put in Facebook jail and she was a physician. She left her brick and mortar to go online and her clients was getting the message back. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Wow.
So it's not your sauce, brains. Okay. Don't get it twisted. It's not yours. You keep
it's not.
It's not. If he just shut it down in the middle of the pandemic, girl, folks will be jumping out the sky.
Or what if Mark Zuckerberg says, I'm done with this, goodbye, I'm gone. And all these people you think are following you, if you don't have their email addresses, they're gone. How are you going to get in touch with them?
All right.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Let's talk about the different platforms that people have. Okay. When you are communicating, in my opinion, with a LinkedIn group, that's a business to business. Level, C-level, peer-to-peer networking. When you're talking to people on Instagram, that's more of a millennial, trendy, let's have a good time, quick and slick. That's great. I don't really understand the movie and the linking of that.
The IGTV, yeah.
Exactly, yes. The most. Okay, and then when you're talking to people on Facebook, you want to build a relationship, warm and fuzzy. What you eating, girl? Let me see your kids and all that kind of stuff. And when you're on Twitter, it's straight to the point. Or political points of view. So post according to that. And you can't be on every platform. You want a TikTok and a this and a that and all this. If you can't manage it and that's not where your audience resonates, would you, what do you think about folks just sitting there?
Well, for Twitter is a good example. I look at someone's LinkedIn profile and the only other link they don't have a website. The only other link that they have to get in touch with them is Twitter. I go to Twitter and they haven't posted since 2018 and this is 2020. And I'm like, okay, so where have they been for 2 years? Now it makes me think that, okay, so you're just not on top of things because you're not posting, at least in the current year.
Right.
So that's one of the things. It's like, well, why didn't you shut it down or just put something automated so that it can go through? That just gives a bad impression, especially if you have that link as one of your profile links in a major search engine, which is LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn. That's one of my favorite. But on LinkedIn, you don't go on LinkedIn saying this is what I have for lunch, or here's a picture of me in a bathing suit. And don't I look cute and all this kind of stuff? I mean, it's like the classified ads. It's like in the middle of a classified ads, you would just say, here's a picture of some shoes. It's like, no, this is the classified ads. This is where we looking for jobs, want ads.
Right. Okay. So what do you think about summits?
I'm summit out.
Yeah, I don't really find a lot of value in them. I think too that's an invasion of privacy. Okay, I got 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, 62,000 contacts. Oh, absolutely. And I'm going to just arbitrarily share that. That's a violation of their privacy. Don't you
Mm-hmm.
think?
Mm-hmm.
Like that.
Well, some of the way I'm talking about in terms of summits are, well, it was a trend since the COVID and pandemic. People were just online. So we got a lot of Zoom and that sort of thing. That's fine. But when I'm saying like the first summit that I went to, it was 3 days and it was like 12 hours each day. And it was so many. I said, everybody can't be on the platform. Shut some of these people down. They all don't have to talk an hour. They could talk 15 minutes, but it was like everybody had to have their hour. They didn't care. It was 11 o'clock at night. They didn't care. I'm going to talk an hour. I don't care if only 2 people listening. I'm still going to talk. And it's like, it's too much. But in terms of what you're saying is that I will get a lot of invitations from people and say, hey, be a part of my summit. Sometimes you have to pay, it's like, oh, you'll build your list or whatever, be a part of this summit. And, you send out these emails to your list. Part of that, if I don't know you, I won't do it. If I do know you, then it's okay because I know you. And
Right.
so your people are my people. But if your people aren't my people, I'm not going to share my people with you.
No.
That's just wrong.
Yeah.
That's just so part of that, people are so what I call so aggressive or desperate, but just common sense in terms of how you market is really what is like the golden rule. Just treat others how you want to be treated. Be a good person.
Let me just define, right. So let me just define that though. Marketing is not sales. Get that
Right.
straight, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You position it to sell it.
Right.
And people don't get that. So when they're marketing themselves, they don't really understand what that means. Okay, let's talk a little bit about liking and acknowledging. That's really, is that raise your algorithm or does it stroke your ego? I mean, why do folks get off on all these likes and all
I think it does. It is one of those things where people need it. They need it. I mean, one of those things where people are like dopamine or something. It's like, I get a lot of likes or I went viral. The whole goal is I went viral and people see it.
Orgasmic, their eyes get big and everything.
Yeah, and it's like, why? I mean, but what does it do for you? But it does mentally. It's like it's almost like high school, April. It's almost like high school. Like, you're popular, and so I always tell people. I said, be online, be focused. If you're going to be online, be on point of what you're there for. Other people could be there looking for a man. Who knows? Some people are looking for clients. Some people are looking for friendship. Some people are lonely. I mean, so there's other reasons why people are posting what they're posting. So you stay focused on yours because I'm telling you, it is just too much. It's TikTok.
How much it is. I got sick. I got anxiety. My stomach was just queasy. I was lightheaded, and it was screen fatigue.
Mm-hmm,
I had to dial on back. I don't turn nothing on but some music, and just try to get through this because it's crazy. So again, like I said, people want approval, they want validation, and they get it with the likes, and collecting folks. If folks are not interacting with you, if they're not liking your page, engaging, following you, you got them just sitting there collecting dust.
Well, people think that's an influencer. So if I'm an influencer, I just try to collect as many people so that way I can go to a brand and say, hey, I have 50,000 people following me on Instagram. So they're just collecting people or on Twitter or whatever so they can be an influencer, which is a real, quote unquote, real job, I guess. But I just think
this one young girl, quick story. I was at the Dr. Phil show and we were taping the show, and one young girl came and she had all these followers. She said she was making $50,000, $60,000 off of Instagram, and she lost her followers and they shut her down. She was suicidal.
Oh my God.
Some old way out stuff and people were following her, but I was like, wow, this is just really, again, where people have moved to. And so either we gonna get in line or get left behind. So
one of the things that I really dislike about social media, because I came on social media, like I said, MySpace, right? So by that time, I'm probably like 30, 40 years old, almost late 30s, right? So that was the first social media. I didn't let my daughter get on social media because I didn't want her exposed to things that I didn't know that she would be exposed to. Didn't know what was going to happen. But not what I don't like about social media is that our children are so more exposed to things that we don't know. Like pornography is so rampant. It could be in a pop-up or whatever. On Instagram, you could hit the wrong hashtag and you get all this stuff. And I can't imagine, a second grader, third grader, just seeing all this stuff at that young age, what that does to their minds. That's one of the psychological things I think they'll find out 20 years from now, what the effect of that is on the children, seeing so much stuff that too early, kindergartners, oh, let me pick up your phone, mommy, and then something that's, it's on a website.
In addition to that, what people post, the ugly things that they post.
Whew.
Because you got keyboard courage. I dare you to say it to my face. I dare you to say it to my face, okay? You'll pull back a nub.
I saw something today that was like the most disgusting thing. So, we've got to wear these masks, right? And so it was a young lady that said, it had a sign, she's going into a club, and it says, you can't enter unless you wear a mask. She pulled off her thong in the video and put it on her face. Her panties or whatever it was. Okay. And I'm like,
we're gonna let you sit with that, Brains, with that visual.
That was just nasty.
Yeah. And what is that? And just because you have a camera, that don't mean you should be filming everything.
Thank you. That's what I was thinking. And then put it on Instagram.
Yeah, you put a camera in my face, I'm going to check you about that. I don't care how cool we are. Ask, can you take the picture? I'm with celebrities all the time. I don't just bum rush them. I don't care how well I know them. Can I take a picture? You inviting somebody in your space. Well, you ain't that close right now, but still.
That's true. That's the etiquette. That is the etiquette. And people need to learn the etiquette. You really do. There's celebrities or whatever. You do ask if you could take their picture, because they don't know where that picture is going to land. They need to know what it's going to look like, because sometimes after you take a picture with a celebrity, they'll say, can I see that? Because they want to know if their eyes are closed, if
Right. Can you see that Xanax?
Right, whatever. It's like I need to just have some common sense on this.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, check this out too, but also comments, because people use social media as an emotional outlet. Again, I'm sending love and light to my brother Kanye. Ain't nobody said nothing about, him running for president. He don't have my vote, but he got my love and my support. He's sick. And so just because you can't see my cuts, Brain, still know I bleed. Okay?
Right.
But cutting folks down, putting them on Front Street, or if you have a relationship with somebody, business relationship, and it goes sour, you got to put this little snarky remark. You don't have to do all of that.
Just block them. Just block them. That's it. And don't be so vicious. Remember when, right after, I believe it was Kobe Bryant passed, got, killed, and then Gayle King, I think, interviewed one of his friends, and then I think she said something that went the wrong way or whatever, and then they came after her. I was like
pit bulls.
Oh my God. I was like, what? And I know everybody was emotional about it, but it was like there was no reason to just really just try to destroy someone, or what they call cancel someone. They just tried to cancel her. I'm like, oh my goodness. So yeah, people just think that if I type it on my phone or the computer, it doesn't matter. I could say anything. You would not say it to my face. But so why are you gonna type that comment?
Yeah, why are you gonna do all that? But you know what? We're going to move beyond that. We're going to move beyond our emotions. We're not going to sit with that. Tell us how to make some money real quick. Again, because I'm telling my brains, I'm sucking this up with a straw, baby. Where's my straw?
So one of the main things that I always tell people, it's the same cycle. It really hasn't changed. So in order to get in front of customers, you really have to know who they are and speak their language. So with anything, knowing who your customer is, what it is their problems are, and then explain to them that you have a solution. So that's just that's going to be the same from the beginning of time to the end of time. There's a customer, a prospect becomes a customer, but first it has to become a lead. So how do you attract people to you as a lead? So one of the things is you try to prepare the best brand that you can, try to stay positive, try to be helpful, just like with anything, be likable, no like and trust factor. That's creating a lead. Then the lead then becomes a prospect when they then start engaging with you a little bit, or you're seeing some interaction with them. Maybe they get on your email list. Now, before, a lead was someone that maybe we made a visit to and we got their business card, and then we would keep in touch with them and we would call them. But now we have their email. So now we can keep in touch and we can not call, but now we send email, right? So that you're keeping in touch until they become a customer to the point where they want to buy from you. And that's really the same thing. But the first part of it, the know, like, and trust and building your brand, is being helpful to your audience or prospective audience.
What you're doing is you're selling to value. And I tell people the value now has changed. It's no longer the brick and mortar. It's really no longer the high-end $30 tube of lipstick, because you ain't wearing it nowhere to work.
Just to Zoom me.
Exactly, So
don't have to wear pants.
Right, but the needs have changed. And so you just need to kind of figure out what those are, do surveys, ask people their opinion, ask them what does it look like in their environment now? How much inventory do they have? Are they looking at an online presence? What is the return for investment? Because nobody's working for free. And if you are, you volunteering or slavery, everybody wants some money. Everybody wants some money. And you got to build relationship, and you have to invest in emotional intelligence.
That is it.
You're selling to the heart center now, brains, because the money is going to be tight.
It is.
So now,
it is, and you have to be authentic, April, because one of the main things that I found that was really, I guess, irritating to me right after COVID really clamped down on our nation. And there was in Detroit where I am, it was a lot of people that were dying from COVID. And so I would go through my social media and I would see a lot of people like rest in peace, and people that I knew. And I was like, I can't take it. Then I would see dudes, just like hard hustle, ain't nothing gonna stop me. I'm still gonna be selling. It's just, and I'm like, you know what? It's a time and place for things. Okay. You need to stop and pause and quit trying to act like you got a COVID sale now. I'm like, it was just like, it was so irritating because I was like, do they not understand empathy? Because one of the things, I'm not going to buy from you because you're stupid. I mean, people are dying left and right. We've had, millions of cases, and a lot of people are dead. And then you're trying to tell me about you got a COVID-19 sale, put in the code COVID-19 and you get 19% off. I'm like, really?
Talking about sales, I want to pivot a little bit over to the rebuilding of Black Wall Street. I am looking for some investors. I'm putting a shout out right now. You can be purple. I don't care what color you are. I want some cryptocurrency of my own. I want our own money so that we are able to track it. Now this, little thing they did in July, it's no bend, no spin. Don't for these.
Oh yeah, July 7th, blackout day.
Right, right. Well, I haven't heard any data. I don't know what the impact of that was. We have our own money. We can tell who's buying, who's trading, who's investing, what properties we own.
True.
You know what I'm saying? And ain't nothing wrong with being separate but equal.
How about that, right? Yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong with it. Many do it to this day. Own community, banks, all that. So you cannot fight a 21st century war with 1960 tactics. I appreciate you marching, but they sending in drones, brains.
Right.
Okay? They don't even need that. It's cyber warfare. You don't have to get toe up and don't even have to leave the comfort of your home to be destroyed. It's in the air. It's what we breathe. What do you think about them sending these kids back to school? Girl, I had to call Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, the whole family. What's going on?
But I bet you there will be more, how do I say it? All of a sudden, a lot of people will be pulling their kids out. Like I know for a fact that the parents who have to go back to school, have to go back to work, their kids are, it's such a disparity that's going to happen now between inner city, urban, poor, and those that are not. So just like in Detroit, it was a whole area where there were people that were, dying basically because of certain things economically. That's going to happen with the schools. And then I'm thinking like the long-term effect of that, right? So they're going to schools. The best teachers are leaving because teachers like, I'm not going to that school. That I'm going to teach it online.
All right, but what we do is we should be strategic with that. We should have co-ops. If there's teachers that are good in math and science, let them teach that to teach our children. History, reading programs. You can do that virtually and have kids for 6 and 7 hours. Believe and trust.
I love that.
Okay, 2-3 hours, and then let them work outside in the garden. Teach them how to, use a measuring tape. You're still going to have some plumbers and some people to put in some solar panels, but they're not thinking about that. They're always thinking about the what if. See, I am a solution seeker, not a problem describer. I already know what the problem is. So
I like that solution.
Yeah, I'm trying to think outside the box, and we can do that. It can be at the foot of the bed. It could be 10 kids. Why not use these churches? Hallelujah. You spread them all out. Okay.
They got room.
The Recreation Center. Also, I did a great show on nonprofits. Please go back, Brains, and watch it on fundraising and development. It was through the roof. It was with the auctioneer from Los Angeles. His name is...
I love auctioneers.
Baby, let me tell you, he get the butter from the duck. Okay, and he's talking about new, innovative ways because the gala is gone. But how you can have virtual cocktail parties and bourbon tastings and cookie bakes and how you can, old Ed Sullivan. You remember, not Ed Sullivan, Jerry Lewis.
Jerry Lewis. Oh, the telethon.
Right. He was an innovator. Okay.
I remember the telethon.
Okay. So we have to do that. Nonprofits have to be more self-sustainable instead of wanting that handout. You got to get some, make some cookie dough, some cornbread mix, some honey. You got to do something to make some money. That's
true. Because there's a nonprofit that every year for 50 years, they always had a gala, except for this year.
Right. And, you can't have as many people in there. Who's going to be going to a highbrow event with a mask on? I don't think so.
And then speakers had to pivot. They had to pivot because they were making money from the stages. And now they have to be the tech savvy, or they were doing trainings to corporations and they were doing $10,000 a month in person. But now they've got to flip it and pivot it and do it online. And they got to show up with that same energy or try to translate that same energy online than they did in person. And they're not.
No, they can't deliver. Do you see some of these celebrities? It's embarrassing. Girl,
I think we talked about one of them. It was like, they need to go sit down.
Who and who can't sing, for sure. Whose house is clean and whose house ain't clean, all of that. But I want to talk to you too, really quick about two more things. One is the media and how media is really being created and not related. How do people do a little bit of fact checking? Just a little bit before you just go off on a tangent. Know for yourself, Brains. And I always say, I'm not going to try to force you to do nothing you don't want to do. Okay? That's too much work. But I'm going to give you information, and information is power.
Yeah.
It's nothing if you don't use it. So how do you check sources? Because everybody is just creating some stuff, girl. Now it's wicked.
And this is one of the things too, where this person just had an out and out, like, I've helped, I want to say 7,000 or 7 million, whatever, 7 million speakers with their careers. And I've done this, and they show pictures of, I made 30,000 within 1 week, and they put these pictures up of their PayPal. Now, it could be a screenshot, but if we have enough technology where we can create anything to look like anything, especially if it's going fast on the screen, so it can look like, I made 300,000 on this online course, and if you take this course, I'll show you how you can do it. That happens a lot. So a lot of times people who are making a lot of money, you don't hear Warren Buffett on there. Oh, I made millions or whatever. People who make a lot of money, don't really
About it. They don't
shout it out.
No. Why you want to
So
put a bullseye on your back and say, oh, come,
yeah,
come rob me, come, invade my account. You keep
right.
money like your business under the radar. It ain't
Exactly. But when you find someone has too much hype, it's usually a lie. But Black people, I will just say this about my own people, they like hype. They like hype. And so now they buy into the hype and then they get taken and swindled because they saw something that looked really cool or sound really good. And I'm like, dude, do you realize that was just all fake? And they get really taken online. I see them really buying these programs and thinking this is a quick rich, or I saw someone post today, I just made $1,000 on trading. Is this how y'all be? I'm like,
wow.
So I think the media, you need to check your sources. You can usually tell too what kind of tools maybe someone is using if they're really making millions. So say for instance, just how something is made. So the difference between something made at like Target and something at Nordstrom. It's the quality of it. So online, you can usually tell the quality of things. So if someone says, oh, I'm $1 million business and they have a Wix site, more than likely, probably not.
Right.
They would have a Wix site and then it says, get yours free in the corner.
But, he may be frugal. Give him the benefit.
No. Those are just some of the little things that you could just kind of check. It's like, really,
I know. Okay, so now let's talk about memberships, because you did a really great interview and a podcast on creating memberships. I think that's great. I think in this economic time, we need to try to lower our prices and move volume. If you move volume, then you're going to kind of level out. But you're still trying to come with $1,800. That is somebody's rent here in LA. I mean, for a 1-bedroom. So they're not going to give you that to entertain that. But if you could bring people in at $5.99, $49.99, but you have 5 or 10 people, you got a base. It's something that they can work with. Do you agree?
It's scalable. It is, because a lot of times as a coach, you can coach people one-on-one, but then eventually you're going to run out of time. So the only way to scale it is to put all your information, because basically you're saying like a lot of the same thing to people over time about the PR process, about marketing and branding, social media. So if you can create content and actually deliver it in a way where people are learning and it has information with it as well, and maybe it has polls or something like that, so that you can kind of test people.
Okay.
That's why people would like to learn. They can learn at their own pace. Now, if they need questions for the membership, you can talk to them and actually have a Q&A with them to make sure they're absorbing the material. And then the community itself, the membership itself, can work with each other. So it's a 3-fold. You're getting the information, you're getting a check-in, and you're also getting a community. And that's a membership side. That's what Digital Business Acceleration, our podcast, that's what we really talk about, how people can do that. And so instead of having one online course for $5,000 or whatever, put the course in the membership and then have a lot of people in the membership go through that. It's just a way to scale.
And you got to collaborate, Brains. You can't do everything by yourself. You got to hire.
That's it. Yes. And you need people in the community.
Now let's talk about some damage control. You've been in PR, and folks be out there with some crazy. They be telling all their business, and they pop off and they say all kind of stuff. They get entangled.
Oh no, they in entanglement with August. It's like, what? Then you become a meme.
Okay, but twofold. Either one, it was super brilliant because, okay, let's just go on and get this over with. Okay, it'll be over with in a minute. We can go back to doing what we're doing. And really, me, I don't care how you bump your ugly. If you like it, I love it. I don't care nothing about that. I'm not going to invest all my time chasing and trying to find out what he's doing and what they're doing. But when something like that happens, and you got to go in and you got to strategize with, say somebody big like a R. Kelly or a Bill Cosby. How do you prepare that? How do you prepare that messaging? Because they're doing a lot of messaging too from the White House. But what's the strategy behind that?
Ooh, So you said R. Kelly and Bill Cosby. So there is no strategy for that because they both were like convicted. So at this point, when someone is convicted, before, you know, you got to just go sit down. But someone who's not convicted and it's just rumors and that sort of thing, don't fight back because it just will make it worse. Like when Gayle King, when the thing happened with Gayle King, she didn't fight back. She wasn't replying to every comment. You know, you sit, you wait it out. It's hard, but you wait it out, and then you come back, and then you pivot into something that's good and better that
Like
will make people
Congresswoman
forget.
Ortez did.
Right.
She read Congressman Yoho his rights. Okay, that was beautiful.
Okay.
That was beautiful. You know,
I mean, a lot of times there's a Congresswoman Rashid. I can't think of her. Rashid is her first name. Talib, whatever. She cusses a lot. She cusses a lot. So a lot of times for her, she puts her own foot in her mouth because she really just, she's young and whatever. So finally someone sat down with her and says, you've got to tame your tongue. You have to quit. You're new to Congress. You're a freshman in Congress, but let's tame your tongue and quit like going off on people. That's basically what she was doing. So she has done that, but someone had to sit down with her and say, hey, this is really making your reputation bad. I know you're trying to come out like you're bold and bad, but it's really making you look stupid.
Yeah, it's a teachable moment. So, well, thank you so much for this. Oh my God, Brains, you better go back and rewind because we went through this really quick. Pam, you're gonna have to come back. Okay.
Yes, I would love to, April. And thank you for being in our magazine. I will be sending you the actual copy, but people can read it. They can read the whole issue. You're in the July issue, speakersmagazine.net.
And thank you so much for being here on the edge. Okay, Brains, come on, hit that subscribe button right now on everything. Okay, the LinkedIn, the Twitter, the Instagram, on the edge, Pam's pages. Okay, and really take to heart what she said. You know, she's not just been doing this as an amateur. This is her life. This is her conversation every day. She really enjoys it, and she is great at what she does. So thank you so much for listening. All right.
Thank you, April.
I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye, Brains.